All right, so go ahead. Let's start on the ground, and we're going to start in child's pose first, and kind of use it as a floor-based assessment. Move your block out of the way if you have anything in the way, and then just start. Put your toes together, and let's sit back. And we'll start this so we can get and connect into our breath. Let the arms drop. Let the head come in. If your head doesn't easily connect to the floor, then you can put a block or you could fold your mat or anything like that. So you don't want to be hanging in space. Couple long deep breaths. Pull those hips back away from your hands. If this is too much for your knees, of course, you can come up a little bit higher. You can be on your toes and on your forearms. You can even just sit back as you need to. So give yourself the opportunity to be in as much comfortable as a position as you can be in. Couple more nice long deep breaths just to kind of get ourselves connected into that breath. Also, just being in this position can help, just that pressure against the belly. Focusing that breath into the diaphragm and into the belly. And then bring yourself up. We're going to bring your right knee up towards your right hand. So not really a pigeon pose. It's more of just a knee is up, almost like you just got out of a crawl position, or a very high knee, kind of an H. And then lower yourself down so you're on your belly still. Make sure your back stays long so you're not crowded in by your shoulders. And then let's bring ourselves back up and slide the right leg back and just bring that left knee up as close as you can to your left side. And again, drop back in, forehead to your hands. Breathing, and you can feel your belly press into the ground, giving yourself that kind of that space and that position, opening up the hip. Like if we stood this way, it'd be challenging. And then let's bring ourselves up, and then draw your right knee underneath you, and then forearms stay on the ground. Feel that push, even really actively press yourself back in as deep as you can to your heels. And then slide your hands underneath, and let's come into a cat-cow. Chin towards your sternum. Inhale, lift the tailbone. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, round the back. Inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the chest. Exhale, pull the belly in, round the back. And again, inhale, lift the tailbone. And then exhale, round the back. And then bring the right knee towards your right hip. Roll your right knee in and down. So it's kind of like an old style, what do they call that? Like a fire hydrant kind of motion. Bring your right heel up. Your right knee is in line with your hip. Externally rotate and come back in. So again, so do it kind of specific. So right knee is up, roll the hip, and then come back in line with your left knee. Heel goes up. Watch that your lower back isn't arching. So as your heel goes up, your head and chest go up as well. So heel goes up, keep that back as neutral as you can, roll that hip and come back in. 2 more times, heel is up, roll, and down. Last time, heel comes up, roll, and around. Same thing on the second side. Lift that heel up, knees in line with your hip, externally rotate and come back around. Heel is up, heel is kind of back and down. and around, up. So it's not quite a circle. It's 3 different positions. Knee in line with your hip, knee outside your hip line, and then back underneath you. 2 more times. Heel up, knee out, and down. And 1 more time. Heel up, knee out, and down. Sit back with your toes curled under. Open up those toes a little bit. Breathing. And then shift forward. Lift your hips up. Come into a nice modified downward facing dog. And then come into plank. Then push to downward facing dog. And come into plank. 2 more downward facing dog. And plank. And last time, downward facing dog. And then come back into all fours. And let's come into a seated position. So again, you're going to start in kind of a 90-90. So putting your left knee in front, left foot on top of your right. And we're just going to rotate from the back hip, actually. So take your left hand to the ground and just open up your right knee and back down. Open up your right knee and back down. I have my right hand on my left knee so it doesn't move or pop up. But it's opening my hip joint. So when we were like on our all fours position, that knee went up and out. 2 more. And last one. Good. Then switch legs. You've got your right foot against your left thigh, right knee out in front. If you want to put your hand underneath, if nothing else, it's a place to put your hand. You can put your hand on your hip. You can put your hand on the ground. It just rests nicely on the ground. Trying not to rotate, turning towards, just lifting my knee up as high as I can and back down. If you want to give it a little bit of a help, you can push back into your leg if you want. 2 more. And last one. Good. Turn towards both feet. And then let's roll all the way back on your back. Bring right knee and left knee in. Hug your knees into your chest. And then circle those hips. So I wasn't sure if it's a year ago, but about a year ago, I did a whole hip opening. Kind of a, I think it might have been a month-long, kind of a sequence, or maybe 6 days. I think it might have only been 6 days. And so that's on the 2 more. Circle around, last one. Good, drop your left foot in, hug your right knee in, press your right heel up. Bend your right knee in, press your right heel up. So I think it was a 6-day hip reset. And so to kind of give you 6 days of different movements that you can do to help open those hips. And the beautiful thing about having nice mobile hips, beyond just having mobile hips, is it really does help for your knees. And it actually can help your breathing. It can help your lower back pain. And anything that we do to our hip is going to eventually affect really our neck as well. And so you get a lot of bang for your buck for working on your hips. 2 more. Last one, pull that right knee into the chest, cross your right ankle over. And again, we're back into kind of a figure 4 position. So press with your right hand out and up. So take your hand, slide on your right leg out and up. I've got my left hand still on my left hip, and I'm pressing in the opposition. 3 big breaths. Inhale. And unlace that right leg is down. Bring your left knee in, give a nice little hug into your chest. Exhale. And then press your left heel up. Pull that left knee in. Press your left heel up so your foot is holding the ceiling. And pull that knee in and press up. I'm trying not to drop my heel. I'm bringing my knee to my chest more than my foot down. Do as best you can. Hold the ceiling up. Pull down, still slightly holding the ceiling. And up 2 more. Pull that knee in. Exhale. And back up. Last time, bring that left knee into the chest, and then let's cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Taking the left hand, press up and away. Left hand, press out and away, bring your right hand down. Holding that right hip down. And then release. Take your right knee and left knee, and let's go counterclockwise with the knees. Just circling the knees in the other direction from where you started, using your hands to help guide the position. You can always do this without, but we tend to get our lower back hanging in this. And I want you to kind of avoid that. One more time. All the way up and around, and then bring both knees into the chest again. Exhale. Shh. Good. Using one leg, bring yourself all the way up. Come back into that kind of 90-90 position. This time, take your left knee is parallel to the top edge of your mat. Your right knee is more in line with your right hip. And so you're 90 degrees in the front and 90 degrees behind you. Right hand is on your left knee again, and you're going to rotate and lift that back knee. So it's a little bit deeper of an angle on that back knee. You might feel this more in your rib cage. Keep that chest up. Try not to slump into that left shoulder. 2 more. And last one. Lift that left knee up and back down. Let's switch sides and do the same thing on the other side. Left knee in line with your left hip. Right knee in line with your right. And then hold that right knee down and lift up. You may notice a bigger difference on one side over the other when your legs are farther apart. Two more. And last one. Let's bring both legs in and together. Come back into all fours. Extend your right leg out. Extend your left leg out. Come to downward facing dog. Take your right foot up to your right hand. You could drop your left knee or keep your left knee up. And you're going to go into that internal rotation. Take your right hand down, drop your left knee, and drop your left elbow down. Breathe. You're going to feel the deep stretch into that deep hip. 2 more breaths. Watch the head not hanging. You can have it down. Should be sternum in line with hip. Now, as you can, roll into the inside or the outside of that right foot. Turn towards that right leg and press away. A little bit more work for that right hip. Big breath. When I turn to the other side, you'll be able to see it a little bit easier. And back down. Come up into and all fours with your hand. Lift your hips up enough to step your right foot back. Hinge to the downward facing dog. Come forward into plank. Push back to downward facing dog. Forward to plank. One more time. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot up to your left hand. Breathing. Drop your back knee if you'd like, or keep your right knee up, open. Remember, when you're rotating, you're not rotating from the shoulders. You're rotating from the belly button. Breathing. And then exhale, left hand comes down, right knee now drops. Right hand also comes down. So you're in a deep hinge into that left hip. Full extension in that right side. Breathe. 2 more breaths. Big breath. And then roll to the outside edge of that left foot. Push into that inside of that left knee. Big breaths. 1 more breath. And then lower the left hand, come up, lift the right knee, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, legs can go straight. And then let's come back to the ground. Swing the feet around. You're going to face forward to the length of my mat. You can face anywhere you want. Come into that 90-90. I'll turn in the other direction. Actually, I'll start with my right foot in front so I don't turn away from you. Breathing. So we've got that 90-90 again. Now we're going to lift the left knee, lift the right, and you're facing in the opposite direction. Still a nice open hip. See if you can keep that front foot at 90. Lift, you're rolling on your heels and going to the other direction. 2 more each side. One more each side. Keep the torso tall. Hands are on the ground or off, you choose. Body's nice and tall. Big deep breath. And then swing that back leg forward. Let's come back to the ground. Exhale, roll. Arms out wide to the T. Breathing. Just kind of rest the back. Cross the left ankle over the right. Hold the left ankle. Bring the right knee towards the chest and drop the legs all the way to the right side. Big breath. Sink into the left shoulder. Now you can see how hip can affect shoulder when we find this rotation down and across. You see how the X works in the body. Unlace the left leg, bring yourself up. Cross the right leg over the left knee in. Hold the ankle just to keep the body in position, and then drop the leg to the left side. Again, you can hold the leg the whole time. The bottom knee can hold the leg and you can push. That will open up the inside of the hip a little different. But the key is to keep this right shoulder on the ground. And you're going to feel this spiral, this transverse. Breathe into that transverse line. So the right rib cage towards the left hip or vice versa. Unlace and come back to center. Bring your knees into your chest, give a nice little pull in. And then let's bring ourselves up one more time to that 90-90 position. We're going to add a little bit more of a stretch to this. So body's nice and tall, chest is lifted. You're going to lift the right leg up, rotate. You're now facing your right leg and then come over like a pigeon pose. And from the pigeon pose, come up, turn, and then come over your side of your leg. Push yourself up, turn back, and then again, lift the back knee up first, rotate. So your left leg is in front, come over like a pigeon pose. One more breath. Lift up, turn more towards the side, the top of the left thigh, and rotate in. Look towards the ground or towards your opposite shoulder. And then come back up. We'll repeat on the first side. Rotate, come over pigeon pose, 3 breaths. Inhale up just enough to turn toward your right leg and come over. Inhale up, walk back to that pigeon position. Bring those legs back to the other side on 90-90. and then swing that back leg all the way around. Good. From here, body's nice and tall, chest is lifted, extend the right leg. Take the right hand to the inside of the right leg and rotate, rotating towards the straight leg. Look over the left shoulder. Inhale, look center. Extend the right, bring the left leg in. Hold the inside of that left leg and turn towards the straight leg. Keep that right leg or the straight leg active. Get tall in your torso. Come out of the pelvis in a beautiful spiral. 3 breaths per position. You can go up to 5 or even 10 if you want to stay in something a little longer. Inhale, back to center and pause. At the top, roll your, turn all the way front around, and we're going to recheck that child's pose. So knees are wide, hips go back to your heels, head goes down. How's that feeling? All that breathing, all that hip movement, fluid return now can happen a little bit easier. Body shouldn't feel as stiff or as stuck. Ideally, again, if you want to go a little bit higher, like toes curled under, that's fine. Or if you are okay, if this is where you need to be, that's totally fine as well. From your child's pose, bring yourself up to all fours, push yourself back to downward facing dog, and then walk your feet to your hands or hands to your feet. All right, grab that chair or get near a wall. We're really just using the back side of the chair just to hold you up. Again, if you want to use the wall, that's totally fine. If it helps you out to be a little bit more balanced, or you don't have a chair, that's totally fine as well. For sure, don't use a chair that has rollers. Just use a chair that is nice and stable. Body's nice and tall. So again, we're going to rotate around our torso. This is a great move to do if you don't want to, or don't have time, or don't whatever, just don't want to get on the ground. Or very often that movement, that 90-90 from right to left, swinging those legs around, that's a lot of work for the hips. It also incorporates a lot of core. And if your back's not feeling great that day, then this is a better way, or could be a better way, to just give yourself a different view of the same movement. So just like we did before, you're going to bring your heel back. So remember when we lifted, you're all fours, we brought that heel back and up. And then you're going to bring your knee up and around. That's the next position. And just stand there. If you can stand there, that's great. And then from up and around, you're going to take your knee forward. So we got that third position. Then take your knee out without turning with your knee. So take your knee out. And then you're going to bring your foot back to that original position. So again, knee up, knee cross. Good. Knee out. So your heel is behind you, and then down. Doesn't have to go terribly, doesn't have to go out 90 degrees here. Knee up, knee cross, knee out, back, and down. 2 more times. Up, cross, pull the knee away from the midline of the body, turn the knee slightly down, and bring the leg back together. 1 more time, knee up, cross, and if you want to stand here like this, great balance work too. Pull the knee away from the opposite knee, turn the heel down and back together. Good. Great standing exercise. Switching, doing the other side, you can just flip if you want to. So again, nice and tall. Bring your heel back. So I've got my right heel going back, my left leg is staying stable. Bring my knee up. Cross my ankle and standing. Again, you can check your standing balance. Pull the knee up and away, and then circle the hip around to come back. Again, knee up, roll in, pull the knee up and away, roll the hip down and in. 2 more, knee up and heel across.
Pull the knee up, kind of like you're bringing it towards the armpit. Tilt and swing back around. One more, knee up and cross. Breathing, and then pull that knee up and away, roll and back. Good. Let's go back to the first side. We're just going to make it a little bit smoother. Okay. We're going to start actually with the ankle crossing over. From here, knee comes up and out, around and together. And then you'll bring the leg forward, knee up, out, tilt, and come back together. One more time, cross over, knee up, out, tilt, and come back together. Second side, same thing, start with your ankle across your knee. So these are all those same rotational movements that we were doing seated on the ground, just now kind of put together and more balance added. So ankle is crossed, knee up, out, roll the hip and bring it back behind you. Bring your leg in, knee up, out, roll that hip and back. Round, cross last time, knee up, out, roll that hip and bring it back up and across. Again, you can check your balance. Good. Next. So let's come back here. Go and put the chair away. Come to the top of your mat. Shoulders up, around, and back. Take those arms up and overhead, reach. Bend your knees and push your hips back to dive forward. Inhale, left leg steps back to lunge. And let's come up to a high lunge. Extended heel, warrior one. Breathe. Pull that right hip back. Circle your arms around. Step your left foot up just enough so you can get it on the ground and straighten out your right leg. Look forward. Left leg goes back to the lunge. Hands come to the ground. Step back into plank. Push back to the downward facing dog. Sink into the heels. Bend the knees. Step or walk your feet up to your hands. Half lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale and sweep up. Exhale and through. Breathing. Inhale, circle those arms up. Circle back. Right leg steps back. High lunge. Breathing. Pull that left hip back. Keep your chest tall. Arms back. Circle the arms all the way around. Hands to the ground. Step your left or right foot in enough so you can fold over your left leg. Step back with that right foot into the lunge. Left foot goes back to plank and downward facing dog. This time, up on your toes, bend your knees. Right foot up to your hands. High lunge. Breathing. Circle the arms around. Hands to the ground. Left foot comes just slightly forward. Inhale, left foot goes back. Step back into plank. Downward facing dog. Inhale, up on the toes. Bend the knees. Left foot comes up to the hands. High lunge. Circle the arms around, hands to the ground. Right foot comes forward, straighten the left. Bend the left knee, step the right foot back, plank. Downward facing dog. Down, drop into the knees, Sit back into your heels. Beautiful child pose. Exhale. Walk your hands back up. Bring yourself up tall. Switch. Bring those legs back out in front. Body's nice and tall. Roll yourself all the way back. Arms out just below the shoulder line. Both knees up. Drop both knees to your left. Left shoulder out from underneath you. Big breath. Drop that right shoulder. Take your right hand. So take your right hand, even though you're not going to roll completely over, you're going to reach in towards your left hip. And then as you roll back, pull on the diagonal towards your right rib cage as you press down with your left hand. Again, reach across and then pull in opposition. Press down left hand, pull towards your right rib wall. Release gently, bring both knees up. If you need to recenter yourself, bringing both knees up again, drop both knees to your right. Make sure that right shoulder is out from underneath you. Getting that shoulder out from underneath you really will help you get your back to the ground better. Big deep breath. Sink. Then take your left hand, reach it across without completely going over, and pull. Encourage that rotation, that movement through the tissue to drop in. If you want to do it again, you're more than welcome to. Pull. I'm not really doing anything. I'm just encouraging that tissue to come with me. Just kind of a gentle pull across that diagonal. Exhale. And then gently, slowly bring both knees up. Drop your right foot and left foot down. Bring your hips back to center. And let's go into a reclined cobbler's pose. Hands on your belly. Now, for sure, this is a great hip opener. But the other thing about it is that it's a heat release for the body. You can have your hands on your belly or not. You choose. And just let yourself settle back. Feel the length, the space in your neck. Two more breaths. Slow deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Bring those knees together. So I'm going to have you drop to your right side. Press yourself up just enough so you can bring your left hand underneath you. So you're not really getting all the way up. And you can kind of feel how you can sink between your shoulders here. I want you to lift that chest up and bring those elbows as far back as you comfortably can. Breathing and then bring your head back. If you have any nasal or sinus things, don't dump your head for sure. Pull your chest up, tilt your tailbone, and let your head come back only as it's comfortable. Drop your chin to your chest. One more time. Tilt your pelvis and then lay your head back to where it's comfortable. And then bring your head back up. Push into your hands and lift yourself up. Take your fingertips, move them away from you. Drop into the heel of the hand and lift the chest up as you pull the shoulder blades together. roll from the heel of the hands, bow the knees out, walk the hips back slightly, head forward, chin in. I love this stretch partly because when we sit, we tend to pull our heels to our butt and that rounds our lower back. But when you press your hands in, walk your hips back, you can get more elongated in that lower back. Join me again for that forward fold. And then roll yourself up. Bring your knees together, extend your left leg. So when we did it earlier, we rotated into the straight leg. Now we're rotating into the bent knee. Lift the chest up, press your right foot down. Left foot is reaching out. You're spiraling up, out of your pelvis, not just turning. So there should be no real big movement in the shoulders. They should stay in line or in opposition to each other. Inhale, come center, extend the right, hold the left knee in, hold that left knee and rotate. Again, the shoulders don't get involved so much. And then inhale, center, bring yourself towards the front of your mat. Sit nice and tall. This may actually feel more comfortable. If you want to sit on a block or a bolster or something like that, you can. Bring your hands to the front of your knees, gently pull your knees down. Tilt back as much as you can to bring your head over your hips. Drop your chin in. Feel that movement throughout the side of the neck, back of the neck. Inhale, lift up, chin up. Even push your chin, your jaw towards the ceiling. And then release, drop your chin back to your sternum, bring your palms to your center. Release your arms up and overhead reach. Lower your right hand to the sky, watch your right shoulders. You're just tilting over, keeping your left hip down. Breathing into that left rib wall. Inhale up. Left hand down, left elbow bends, right arm comes over. Keep that right hip down. Watch the shoulder space into the neck. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale back around. Give yourself a little hug. Inhale, open one more time. Up and overhead, reach. And exhale through. And be well.